Hello, everyone, and welcome to what I have been calling the Q&A with your directors. My name is Robert Palacios, Executive Director for the New Mexico Advocates for the Arts. We are the ones that put on the Mariachi Conference every year, and this year's a little bit different. I am joined with Joe Baca, the Workshop Director for our conference, and he's with Mariachi Cobre. Joe, welcome.
Hi, how are you all?
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what Mariachi Cobre has been up to.
Sure. So my name is Joe Baca, as Mr. Senor Robert just stated, and I am the violin section leader for Mariachi Cobre, and I've been playing with the group now going on 8 years almost in just a few months, and we have been up to quite a bit now that we're back at work. So, of course, as everybody knows, this year has thrown things in a loop. You know, the entire world has changed completely. But we are very blessed to be back at work and playing for our fans and our guests that get to see us all the way over here in Orlando. So we have been really just busy with that. As far as a little bit about me, I started playing music at around 10 years old, and it was all because of a mariachi conference and a mariachi concert where I got to see Mariachi Cobre live, and that changed my life completely. So for those of you that aren't familiar with my backstory, I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's where I first heard Mariachi Cobre. And then I had the benefit of being able to start music in school. I started playing the violin, later moved on to the guitar and played in orchestra, played in jazz band, and also was lucky to belong to one of the only high school mariachis in the time that existed in Albuquerque. And it wasn't as popular as it was now in the schools. And so my only real education for mariachi other than that was through the conferences, like Las Cruces. And so I got to learn from a lot of instructors, including Mariachi Cobre. And so I got to learn from them and got to know them over the years. And then later on, I got my music. I went to school for music and then finished up and started teaching music and playing with another group real close to Las Cruces in El Paso, Texas, Los Arrieros. And I played with them for 10 years, and I taught music in the public schools, mariachi specifically. And then finally the opportunity came where I got to audition for Mariachi Cobre, and there you have it. 2013, I packed up my home, grabbed my wife, and we came all the way across the country and started this new adventure over here. So, and it's been such a wonderful experience now getting to perform with all of my childhood heroes, I guess, so to speak, and all of my teachers, really. And it's kind of interesting to come full circle, having been a student, a teacher, and now playing in the professional spectrum along with the people who taught me since I was a child. It's a lot of different views, I think, that add to my experience, or I guess my expertise as putting on one of these educational events as far as curriculum and workshop design and workshop format. And it's something that's fun to me because one thing that Mariachi Cobre has always loved to do is student outreach. So we are very glad to do it. We're very thankful, Robert, that you asked us to do it. And that we can be a little creative this year and make something, do something good with a very tough situation that has been handed to us.
Yes, definitely. And I can resonate, the full circle aspect, because I was a student first year of 2002 of the Mariachi Conference. And so it really has been a full circle for me as far as being a participant and then being in the position I am now.
Yes, definitely. Most definitely.
So,
and I think that's kind of the biggest thing, now that you bring it up. I mean, this type of thing is always going to need to be rejuvenated, and it's always going to need to, if we wanted to survive and we wanted to live, we have to have people that come up and step up to opportunities like yours, and whether they be students, and more than likely they will be, because those are if we inspire the younger generations, then they'll want to, take up that torch at some point.
Mhm.
And then the circle just continues. Most people, realize that at least in Mexico for the last 100 and so years, music, the traditional folk music, was passed down from family generation to family generation to family generation.
Mhm.
And we have started kind of our own pattern of that in the United States, where they're much larger families. They're families of conferences that pass this down to the younger generations and younger generations. And so we have found that so in Mariachi Cobre that me, Louis, our vihuela player, Alex, our bass player, Aaron, one of our newest violinists, we're all products of music education, of the mariachi conferences, and so now we're in the next seat, so to speak. So that's just the way, that's the pattern that has developed now. And so we have these, I guess I can call them, musical families in the conferences that help to pass this along and keep it alive. So it's really good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for joining us this year. This year has been very difficult from any other year, and I'm excited that we found a way to still have the Mariachi Conference. Not in its full form. We put out a press release, and it's in Las Cruces before the Mariachi Conference. I say you could smell mariachi in the air, because we're having Macias Sundays, and
Right.
we're doing fundraisers and different events. We joined forces with New Mexico State University last year and had a really awesome halftime show.
Oh, cool.
The marching band played La Negra. We had Ballet Folklorico.
Oh, wow. How about that? That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
several mariachi groups, youth groups in our community were out there to perform. And so it's different this year, but we're making it happen. We're adjusting. I never imagined the conference being virtual,
Right.
but here we are. And what can participants expect out of the conference?
So, yeah, so that's a really good question, because I think that's the question of the ages, because this is so new for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the very comical answer of I can hope for what we expect. So so this is something that's going to be really fun, I think. Now, of course, everybody, and I'm, of course, all the students, if you're of school age, you have, had to deal now with having to learn online, and, with the virtual classrooms and such, or some sort of hybrid. And of course, it's a learning curve, not just for the students, but also for the teachers and for the parents. And so what this is hopefully going to be a little bit supplemental to the music classes that are already going on, because that's one of the hardest things is obviously the ensemble getting together is a lot more difficult now. Mm-hmm. And so this adds, I think, a little added support to the teachers and to the instructors. And you can kind of think of it like that. It's supplemental, because we can't do a full day of workshop, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so what we're doing is we're offering these classes in the evening, and they will be with one of the members of Mariachi Cobre, and you'll get specialized instruction from a professional musician who does this day in, day out, 5 days a week, full time. And we have ways of operating on the stage. We have ways that we attack our instruments as far as technique and professional expectations, all that kind of stuff. We will be sharing with the students, along with, of course, the prescribed music, and that's really what you can kind of expect. And there'll of course be and the other great thing is too is that other than the beginning classes, which will be recorded, the intermediate and advanced classes will be live. So you'll have a live instructor, which I think is an added benefit, because you can ask questions in real time, and you can do the one thing that you can't do in a typical class, where you can literally put your microphone on mute and practice exactly what the teacher is going over. And so that is one of the kind of the neat creative benefits that we can utilize to our advantage, since we have to do it this way, is that the instructor can actually teach and you can literally go over what he's talking about or try out what he's talking about without bothering any of the other students. And there will also be time for the instructor as well in the class to maybe talk to individual students, ask for an individual student to play certain passages or whatnot, and really utilize that as a learning experience for not just that particular student, but for everybody. And so it's going to be really interactive. There's going to be questions, there's going to be answers. So it's, and again, there's going to be somewhat of a learning curve, but that's going to be for everybody. And like I said, it's going to be a nice supplemental addition to any music classes that you're already going through. And as far as the pacing of the instruction, that is going to be at the teacher's discretion. But as far as the intermediate and advanced levels go, that's something, again, since it's live, you can interact, you can ask questions, and you'll get an answer. And so this is one of the things that's really positive about this. Now, as far as the beginning classes, in fact, I just finished recording the last video today. And we've been recording these beginning class videos over the last 2 weeks. And they're really well placed, really well paced, very clearly done. We give some exercises, we give a lot of examples, and a lot of it is based on the fundamentals, technique. And so that's, including position and how to listen for intonation and use your ears and really watch out for, position is really one of the most important things as a beginner. So we do a lot of close-up shots. We do shots from different angles. It's, very, very clearly done. And the great thing about it is that this was another thing about the beginning class that was really cool about recording it. Is that you can always pause it, and you can pause it and you can try the exercises or really try and get what the instructor is trying to say. And that's really the best thing you can do, other than having a personal instructor with you, because, when you're a beginning student, it's really tough when you don't have your teacher right there with you to help maybe, put you in the position and whatnot. So at least with a video, as opposed to a live class, you can pause it and you'll have it right there in front of you, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to be. And so all of these things were taken into consideration when we were recording the beginning videos. So everything as far as we've planned it out as much as we could. We've tried to think of every type of situation. We've tried to think of really, there's a reason pretty much for everything that we've done as far as the way we've planned it. So, and again, the goal is to have the best possible virtual event that one can think of. Mm-hmm. And that's really it. And then you just say, okay, once it comes time, press the go button, and then you see what happens.
And something we haven't mentioned, of course, you can find it on our website, is the conference will be spread out from Monday, November 9th through Saturday, November 14th. The 14th, right now, we just have a little bit of Folklorico stuff scheduled. But we're developing our schedule daily. Like we've mentioned, this is something new. As we've worked on the schedule, some ideas come up, we want to add value, but really what you've spoken on is where the value is. Unique right. Opportunity to get the most out of the instruction, where we haven't had the opportunity to do in a regular conference, because we have so many students, a limited amount of time to be able to put the product out. And so right. It gives itself to the students to be able to pause and interact, in a unique way during this virtual
exactly.
conference.
And the other good thing is that even in the live classes, those will be recorded.
Hmm.
And so they'll be available for download afterwards. So even still, you'll still get to pause on stuff, or if you miss a class,
Exactly.
you can still download it and then pause it, for those types of things. So quite a bit of thought has gone into trying to make this work as best we can for everybody.
Hmm.
From the conference itself, from Robert and his team, and from Cobre's standpoint, I know I can speak to that for sure. And as far as the other thing that's going to be, and I don't know, this might be subject for a little bit later, but since we're on the classes and everything, um, the one other thing that I think is very cool as far as what to expect from this is that there's a lot of you out there that already play another instrument, or you want to learn another instrument. So this conference is really, really cool for you multi-instrumentalists, because for the first time we can actually do a multi-instrumental track, so to speak.
Hmm.
And so you'll actually have the opportunity to learn more than one instrument, which in a typical conference, you can, you know, you can't really do that, first of all, because you're in your classes all day. But let's say even if you were to, do what you're technically not supposed to do and skip out on one class and then go to another, you miss everything that you missed,
Yeah.
obviously, right? So this time you don't have to miss anything, because again, like we said, the classes are pre-recorded,
Hmm.
and they're spread out through different times of the week. So let's say you want to do, just as an example, let's say you want to do, you're a violinist. So let's say you do advanced violin, but you're also kind of starting to play rhythm. So then you want to do maybe, see how an intermediate vihuela class goes. So, okay. So if they're on different days, well, guess what? You get to do everything, and you get to be there live for everything. But let's say that your classes do overlap. Or let's say, like, okay, well, you have time to do this one, but then, mom just needs you to go eat dinner, Well, you still get that recorded class if you do the multi-instrumental track. And so it's really neat, because, you can, really get the best of your money, when it comes down to it, because you'll have all of those instruments right at your fingertips,
Hmm.
and it's an all access. You can get into anything.
Yeah. So what Joe's talking about is if you register general registration, you're going to pick an instrument or voice, and you'll have access to all levels of workshop for that instrument. But what we have this year is the all access pass, and that'll get you not only into mariachi, but if you have time and the aspiration to do more, you could get into the ballet folklorico as well,
That's right.
voice, instrumental. So if you want to do two instruments, it's $50 an instrument. If you want to do the all access, that's $150, and it gets you into everything, which is really cool. And we haven't been able to achieve that in a regular conference just because of the time we have.
Right. Yeah, the time and just the classroom space,
Exactly.
all of that. It's just that's just the beast that's way too hard to control in an actual live, conference, which is always going to be the best thing, a live conference in person. But we got to find these positivities in what we're having to deal with right now. And so these are really neat options
Hmm.
for you all students, to be able to learn, um, you know, multiple instruments, or even become a dancer you never even thought, you'd
Yeah.
be interested in, but you'll have that opportunity, and why not take it,
I'm going to take advantage. I've never really been able to, as a director, I can't be in every workshop either.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm going to take advantage of seeing how each workshop is ran and how things are going. So I'm also excited about that
Yeah.
opportunity.
It's really
Something
cool. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
something else that you covered, if a participant misses a session, um, or you have to do something, you have to step away from your computer, you're not missing out completely, because we're going to record every session, and it's going to be uploaded within 48 hours and available till the end of the year to you. So
That's
um,
awesome.
not only can you be in the class the whole time, you could take advantage, just like the beginners, to go back and look at those videos and pause and play as you need, to do things at your pace. So even if you want to jump into an advanced violin class and it's a little bit too much, you have an opportunity to play that video and utilize it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's very cool. That is super cool.
This is the first virtual mariachi conference we're having in the history of Las Cruces International Mariachi Conference. Why is it important to still provide this opportunity on your side?
That's a good question. You know, because one could just kind of throw their hands up in the air and just say, you know what? Okay, this is just too weird. To, you know, there's too many unknowns to try it. But I know that I'm kind of not that kind of person. So when I was approached with this, you know, you spoke to Steve, and then Steve talked to me about it, because of course, you know, my experience being the workshop director for a few years back. And I was like, dude, let's just do it. Let's just, you know, I mean, because it's in these moments, really, this is going to sound really cheesy, but it's in these moments where, I mean, just there's no rules now, you know, so
There's
you
no
can,
precedent.
yeah. So you can venture into the unknown and just get creative with it, you know, and it's something that you can learn from and even pull from. And you know, who knows, I mean, do we want to go back to live classes as soon as possible where we can be in person? Of course we do. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you know, by not trying this and going this route, I mean, who knows how this can affect live in-person conferences in the future too. I mean, why wouldn't this be a natural aspect of something? You just never know by not trying it, not doing it. And like I said, you know, as soon as I was approached, it's like little things started going off in my head. Oh man, okay.
Well,
So
I know when I reached out to you, we were on the Zoom for, I mean, a few hours, just going back and forth and thinking of the possibilities.
That's right. And you know, the thing is we already know the things we can't do. Mm-hmm. So what are all the things we can do? It's like, boom, we can do all the things that we can't do in an in-person one. Mm-hmm. Like have multiple instruments, have that available to all the students, be able to record the classes and have those available for longer periods of time. And also not only that, but having some of those things like for the beginners, like something that they can keep and really, really hone in on that, you know, and in a sense kind of take us into your home, you know, because bottom line is it was really important for us to do this because Cobre, you know, a lot of our history is based on student outreach. Mm-hmm. You know, Mariachi Cobre started not just Las Cruces, but they started Tucson, and also I believe an event in San Jose as well. I believe they started it. If not, they've been there for years. But regardless, student outreach has been something that this group has been a part of for years, and it all starts because of really almost the way they learned in the Changuitos Feos. Mm-hmm. And you know, so they were very much students. They very much learned in a similar way that the classroom structure is based now. You know, they were Mexican American students who learned mariachi on this side of the border, mm-hmm. and fell in love with it and kept it going and started searching out instruction from professionals like Mariachi Vargas and so many other groups and listened to recordings and all. I mean, so their upbringing is very much like ours, you know. Mm-hmm. They just made it more available here in the United States, you know, the founding members of Mariachi Cobre. So it's something that's kind of ingrained, I think, in the history of this group. And I don't think that that's ever going to go anywhere, to tell you the truth. So as much as we love performing and playing concerts and doing, you know, our musical projects and studios and all that kind of stuff, as much as that is a part of this group, the student outreach is just as much a part of the group as well.
I'm excited because I know as a participant, I would geek out and, for lack of a better term, fangirl when I would get to the conference. Who will be teaching? Who can the participants expect to see?
Yeah, so we're utilizing as many of the members of Mariachi Cobre that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Being the fact that this is a shortened event. Well, actually not week-wise, but the classroom
Mm-hmm.
the classroom time is a lot shorter, and then because of that, we have to be very careful as far as scheduling. So on violin is going to be me, and also one of our other violinists, or actually one of our newest violinists, Aron Piedra, and then for trumpet is going to be Miguel Molina. So he's been I think he's been a member since, I want to say it's 1990, if I'm not mistaken. He's been a member of Mariachi Cobre. And then on, let me see, where am I at here? Guitarron, it's going to be Alex Garcia, and he's our new bass player after Randy Carrillo retired. And then on vihuela, we're going to have Luis Rangel, and who's actually just celebrated just recently 5 years with the group.
Oh, wow.
He just celebrated his anniversary not too long ago. And then on guitar, we're going to have my buddy Omar Olivas. He's been with the group now. He's going to be 15 years this coming January 1st. 15 years in the group already, which is insane because I played with him when I was 18. So
he played before COVID. He was with
Los Arrieros as well, in El Paso, right? Yeah. So so he's going to be doing guitar, and then and Miguel and Omar are going to, this is something that's cool too, that here's another thing that we haven't been able to do in previous concerts, is actually get multiple guys to do some vocal stuff, because obviously we have more than one singer. Mm-hmm. And so our musical director, Steve Carrillo, is going to be doing the vocal class. But there's actually going to be another vocal class, a specialized vocal class of harmonization. And that's going to be Miguel, Omar, and Steve all together. And so that's going to be that's going to be something that's really cool. I mean, I'm probably going to tune in for that one.
Yeah.
because that's something that they're not really, we've never been able to do that before, and utilize those three vocal skills together, and also teaching ability. They all have good teaching ability. Mm-hmm. And they're going to talk a little bit about they all have essentially the same concept. But of course, everybody's voice is different, and so the application is a little bit different. But then you can see how it all kind of blends together. So they'll be talking about their own individual voices, and also the standard good technique of singing, and then bringing it all together and harmonizing and stuff like that. So that'll be really good for choros, for trios and duets and that sort of thing, as well as just general voice.
And I just want to point out, we are separating the vihuela and guitar classes this year.
Exactly. Yes. So vihuela and guitar are going to be in separate classes, which is great, because the technique is obviously slightly different, and you get to learn from two amazing instructors. Both of them are just amazing at their instruments. Louis is such a musical person. As it is, I mean, he plays, of course, all the armonia, and as does Omar. Mm-hmm. And he plays vihuela just so nice. It's not only crisp, but you hear everything. And then Omar, to take instruction on the guitar from him, I mean, that's an amazing thing. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a guitar player with such a beefy sound. It's incredible. It's like, and it doesn't look like he's doing anything, but it's just this muscle of sound, but you hear every note, and it's just thick, so when you get both of them playing together, of course it's awesome. But that's the good thing, is that you get to benefit from their individual instruction this year, which is going to be really good.
And something I haven't announced yet is we have a special guest doing.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And so, of course, you all are probably familiar with Checo, Sergio Alonso, and he plays with Mariachi Los Camperos, and has for years. You know, I can't even think about how long he's been there. I mean, I know at least since I've been with Arrieros, and in fact, all the time that I was with Arrieros, I remember him in Camperos. I need to ask him. Um, but yeah, so I mean, for at least the last 18 years, 20 years,
Yeah.
he's been with Mariachi Los Camperos, and of course, he's played with a lot of great musicians. He's one of the go-to harpists. If anybody needs anything done, any work done, he's one of those go-to guys. He's also a professional teacher, a professional educator. We've already talked briefly, and it's just been a pleasure to speak with him. Easy, just one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. Honestly, I wish I worked. Obviously distance. I've never lived in California, and I'm not there that often. But all the times that I've spoken with him, even before I was in Cobre, I mean, just the nicest, down to earth. I mean, just so professional, just straight shooter, and it's been really cool starting to kind of build that conversation. So when we were talking about that, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Finally, I get to talk to him and really get to know him a little bit better. And so he's going to be a very nice, a perfect addition to this, especially not only because of his musical expertise. He plays multiple instruments as well. So he has a really good grasp on melody and harmony, which is what you need as a harpist. Yeah. But he's a professional educator, so you're getting, cream of the crop instruction.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
How long will the classes be?
So the classes will be, so they're going to range from about an hour and a half is going to be the typical. The only one that's going to be different than that is the vocal class.
Okay.
And so the vocal class with Steve, well, actually, the single vocal class. So we're going to have the harmony vocal class with the three instructors, Steve, Miguel, and Omar. But we're going to have the regular standard vocal class with Steve. That will run about 2 hours.
Okay.
And that one's going to be basically gauging it. There'll be some instruction, obviously, on the workshop material, and then some technique, and then there will be. I lost my train of thought. Where am I going? Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to back up. So there's going to be, his single workshop class is going to be about 2 hours long.
Okay.
And so the way that's going to be divided, essentially within the 2 hours, is going to be working on the workshop material. And then it's also going to be technique. And then in the latter half of the class, what he loves to do, and he'll do this typically on the last day of workshops, is he'll listen to individual singers, and he'll give them, critiques, and those singers get to sing for the class. And that serves as a learning guide, really for everybody. And so that's kind of how that one will work. So that's going to be a little longer than a normal class.
Yeah.
And then, so you're looking at anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours within that window.
And there's nobody going to be, cutting it off. We want the students, participants to get the most out of the workshop. So as long as you guys are teaching, the workshop will keep going. So
nice. Cool. Yeah. And I have a tendency to run over my time.
I think we're gonna have more fun than we anticipate. It's good. I'm excited.
Yeah. And it is really fun. I can speak to that because I've done a few workshop like sessions, with multiple students, and it's really fun. It's different. It's really different, and it's neat because from the instructor side of it, you're talking and you have your notes and you're telling them stuff and showing examples, and then you can see the students right there in your windows practicing along with you and looking back up at you and looking down at their music and this or making notes, and they're not bothering anybody. You know what I mean? They're not bothering the student next to them. They're not getting in the way of your instruction.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a really neat way to learn if you know how to kind of utilize it, you know?
Yeah.
So it is possible, and it will be definitely very much a quality time in the classroom for sure.
Well, at this point, I hope directors and students alike are saying, you know, how do we register? We want to register. We want to register. So I'll talk a little bit more about how to register. Of course, we have a link on our website, lascrucesmariachi.org. Click the registration tab. And there's two options. If you're a director of a group, I have a spreadsheet there. That's the best way to fill it out. There's a lot of information. If you go to our online portal, you're going to be having to click the same questions over and over. So go ahead and download that spreadsheet. Send me an email, RSVP your slots. We are limited as far as space. Send me an RSVP, say we're working on our spreadsheet, we are taking purchase orders. So if your school needs to make a purchase order, let me know. You're going to submit a purchase order as well. And then if you're an individual wanting to register, you just go a little bit further down and click register now. And that'll take you over to our secure link where you fill out the registration. Again, it goes by instrument, so you can register for guitar, violin, trumpet, guitarrón, vihuela, or voice.
And then, you know, the cool thing is about the, you know, guys, really, this is an opportunity for you not to just learn from you know, professionals who do this every day, but also like what we were talking about, keeping a heritage, keeping a tradition alive, and really what it is it's all going back to you anyway. It's all going back to the student anyway. Mm-hmm. All of the energy that's being put forth is going back into the student, which goes back into communities, and it really just doesn't just support. You're not just paying for the ticket and then you're getting taught something. You know, these types of event really put a sense of positivity back into the community, back into the world, because you know, it's not like these events ever went away, but it's just so easy, especially this year, which has been extremely hard for the entire population of the globe. You know, these events should not go away because of something like that. And this is a way to say, hey, look, this still exists. Positivity still exists. It never, you know, it never went anywhere, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a good thing to keep in mind, because you know, if you're talking about, you know, negative events and negativity, I mean, this is, you know, at least in my lifetime, this is the most I have ever heard this spew. Just constant bombardment of this. And the truth is, when you really look at it, it's not true.
Yeah. Because
look at all of the positive things that the community has always done, all of the events that the community is still trying to put together, even though this is going on. And these are events that we all did last year. So the world is a good place, and we need to remind ourselves of that.
And the best part is, as a participant back in the day, I always came out of a conference with a new excitement and a new,
you
know, whether it was from our directors or seeing performances or whatever aspect that resonates with you. That's why I said this was important to make happen. And I understand it's an online platform, and we've all been, you know, even as out in the workforce, I'm in Zoom meetings day after day, and board meetings are over Zoom, and this is how we're having to function. But if I could get a little beauty out of it, it's going to be through music and dance and sharing the arts, the way we're going to be able to this year for our conference.
Most definitely. It's invigorating. It's inspiring. You know, you walk out of these events, I remember as a child, and you just like, you keep it living in your head for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, and then eventually by the time that kind of wears off, you realize, oh, look, I've improved. I'm now better, not just as a musician, as a person. You have all of those things that you took back with you. It's so important to keep these things alive, you know, and especially ones that work so hard to do it, you know, amidst all the struggles and amidst everything, you know. So definitely, you know, if you feel that pull, jump in, you know,
Mhm.
jump in head first. And like, you know, like what you were saying, you know, it was $50 that gets you into the general registration, but for what is the cost of the all access again?
150 for all access, and that
So
gets you
one
into
fit.
all mariachi and all dance.
Yeah. I mean, you get everything. I mean, that's unheard of.
We
That's
haven't been able to do
amazing.
that, no. And I
Yeah.
don't think we, who knows if we can do it again, but you know, this is a starting point for us.
Right. Right.
Something else I'm excited about that we're introducing new this year. Of course, we're going to be using Zoom as our presentation platform, but we have an app that I've seen in the past, but we haven't been able to make happen. We have an app called Huva, and it's used a lot for webinars and conferences, work conferences, different things. And through that app, what I'm working on right now is getting panels together, hopefully having a director panel. We're going to have a screening of some mariachi history. Uh, and there's many ways to get creative. Maybe we'll have some, you know, coffee with your director, and people can join in the morning or right before the workshops start, and we could sit down and have discussions, and we'll have an open platform. There's different rooms, so we'll create a room for directors, and you guys can ask each other questions and communicate in real time. And so it's really exciting. So that platform, Huva, is going to launch at the end of the week. So
That's excellent.
participants can start downloading it and really start a discussion before the conference even starts. You know, there's going to be those different rooms per instrument or per director. So people can start collaborating and already doing things before the conference happens.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's fantastic.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
and we're
cool.
gonna have bios up for speakers, you know, and you can upload your short bio as a student or as a director, and really the big part of the app that was promoted to me is networking. And so the biggest thing that I've always loved about the mariachi community is the great ability to, and what we've done is over social media, you know, find directors or groups and start working on different projects. And now we can do it through the conference in this app. It's a huge networking opportunity that I hope everybody takes advantage of.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super. Super. That's awesome. And
Uh, a few
oh no,
more
go ahead. Yeah.
questions. Sheet
Sure.
music. How are our students? Is it included in their registration?
Yeah, so the sheet music, you're gonna get everything, you know, with your registration, which is awesome. So this year, of course, because the classes are shorter and it's kind of abbreviated a little bit. So we don't want to do like overshoot anything here. We want this to be quality, concise, and focused. So we're doing three songs. They're going to be El Tren, Café Colón, and beautiful ranchera Carretera de Ensenada. And so we're going to be doing those three tunes. One is a son, obviously the ranchera that I just mentioned, and then Café Colón is a very beautiful polka that has nice lines for the violins, nice lines for the horns, and some nice changes for the armonia section. And so these, I think, we cover the basis of mariachi: the ranchera, a polka, and a son.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's enough material where, you know, that it'll fill the class. We can work on it well. You know, even though the students necessarily won't be playing it together, it provides the right backbone for us to be able to teach you the technique, which is really what we're going to be focusing. And I've asked the guys, that's kind of what we want to focus the most on, because we might as well, because we're not going to have that group playing experience. So we might as well take advantage of really focusing down on technique this year. And so really what those songs are it provides us the backbone to be able to teach you the technique against some music. So Those are the 3 songs that we're going to be doing. The other things that you'll get for your registration, and that's another thing. If you get an all access, and I just kind of put this in my head together now. I mean, you'll get the entire instrument,
all access, all instrumentations.
Yeah. So you'll get all the music for everything, which is pretty neat. So you could literally just download all the violin music, all the guitarrón music, all the armonía music, the voice parts. They're all there for you.
If there's anything I could recommend to the directors out there, if you're a director for yourself, I would say get the all access.
Oh, you definitely, yeah. To me, that's a no-brainer. For directors, that would be like, that
tell
would
your
be
friends,
like
tell all
for
the
you
directors
especially
out there. Take advantage, because I've never seen this happen before either.
Yeah, and then as far as the student registration, of course, it would definitely be obviously the singles, but even for them, I mean, if their family wants to, a lot of them are multi-instrumentalists,
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be, or they have maybe a family member that wants to, or I guess I'm thinking of their parents. Their parents are not sure about their future. I know, like, my parents were not sure about my future music. They love the fact that I love music, but I mean, it's a way if you were to get the all access pass and they'll get everything, they get, the parents can actually see, they could be there with their student and actually see, like, oh man, my kid can learn the violin, my kid can learn the guitar, my kid can, they'll actually see the whole spectrum, as opposed to just their child, sitting and just playing a violin, which they hear all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be an open window for their parents to learn more about mariachi if they don't really know much about mariachi either. And so the other things that the students will get as well is there'll be some other workbook material. So there's not going to be a workbook per se,
mm-hmm.
but there will be obviously the music. There's going to be the typical forms that you'll find if you've been to a Las Cruces conference before. So there'll be the musical information sheet, which goes over the key of the song, the title of the song, the map of the song, mm-hmm. any musical elements like dynamics, that sort of thing. There will be other informational material like the anatomy of the instrument. And so, so say for the guitar, it'll have all of the parts, the headstock, the neck, fingerboard, fretboard, mm-hmm. Bridge, sound hole, all that kind of stuff. So there'll be that there. A lot of that good educational material, the basics that you should know mm-hmm. about your instrument. So a lot of that stuff will also be available, kind of, I guess, more or less in a packet format. So so those are all things that you'll get as part of your registration, musically speaking, as far as printouts and that kind of thing.
There's a handful of things that we're going to miss from an in-person conference, but I mean, just from sitting here talking, the value behind of what we're offering as a virtual conference, I mean, it's there, and I hope as a group or an individual, the participants out there are able to take advantage of it.
Most definitely. It's something that we're taking this and running with it, mm-hmm. and we're doing it with the best of intentions and as well planned out as anybody can. I know on both of our sides we're working over hours and in between everything that we normally do to make this happen. Yeah. And we're doing that primarily because we care. And secondly, these challenges are something that are fun for us. And the thing is you'll get that quality, I believe, will come out during the instructional period. Because we wouldn't be trying so hard if it wasn't worth it to us. And I think that'll come across in the quality of the instruction that you get. And all of the music that you'll get and the handouts and the specifics, all of the opportunities that'll happen here, yeah. Including like to me, seriously, the most exciting thing for me is still the fact that you can do multiple instruments. I mean, that's just that just doesn't, you know, that's just
That
not
happened.
normal. You can't do that. Yeah. So that, to me, that's just by far the most exciting thing for me, being able to do that with this one.
Mhm.
I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like if I had the opportunity to do that, I would have jumped on that train. Yeah.
Yeah, me
Easy,
too.
quick. Yeah.
I think
Quick.
the closest thing would be splitting your time, you know, paying for two
Yeah.
things, and then you would have to give up one workshop for the other,
Right.
basically.
Exactly. And in
Or
this one, you don't,
yeah,
go
or you
ahead.
would
Yeah.
just pay for it just to get the music for another instrumentation, you know.
Exactly. And that does happen sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
don't, but this one you'll, if you can't be at both classes, which the likelihood is pretty high that you will
Hmm.
be able to make both live classes. But even if you can't, you'll still get the entire class.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can't, I mean, what else can I say? You know, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, Joe, thanks for joining me. I think to wrap things up, we have for me, which is a big announcement. The next three groups that register will have an opportunity to do a private clinician with yourself and who else?
Yep. Yep. So with me right now, for sure, and then when I'm looking at some of the other guys to see if there's time within our schedule, but for sure with me.
Okay.
And if we can get two of the other guys, we definitely want to try and do that. And that just kind of depends on location and availability and whatnot. But it is going to be essentially kind of like a master class,
Hmm.
and the master class will, by master class, I mean the true essence of a master class. So, you know, you are working with a professional as an ensemble, and the professional has feedback for you, but that feedback is not just for you, but also for the other students that would be watching as well. Because that type of information is very valuable, because as students, you all do very similar things, and you all have unique challenges, but you also have challenges that are very much the same. And so everybody can learn from everybody's performance working with that professional clinician. So that's going to be offered as well. And I love working with ensembles. You know, I really love working with ensembles, and you know, performance, not just etiquette, but I guess pedagogy,
Hmm. Yeah.
how the group functions together and performs together to attain the most successful performance. And so that's something that's really, really cool. Yeah, I like doing that. And it's very, very valuable, because a lot of times, you know, we're just learning songs and okay, yeah, we're playing them, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that there's after you've learned the song and are able to just play it in front of people, there's now a further section of how can we better do that to make our performance more effective.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Register. Just go for it. Just go for it. Just do it. No, it's an honor, and a privilege to be doing this. And I like the experimental aspect and the creativity that we've been able to do for this year's event.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, just come along with us, have fun with us on this train. You know, this is something that you know, it's something new. It's something interesting. You get a lot out of it for what you're going to be doing, and it's going to be fantastic.
And my team is readily available. We have a chat feature on our website. A lot of times we are online. Of course, we have to sleep, so you might catch us
Yeah.
offline here and there. Facebook Messenger, and you can email us office@lascrucesmariachi.org. So we're here to answer any questions, to help. Like I said, large groups with schools, we're taking purchase orders, RSVP, and just take advantage of these huge opportunities that I think will make a difference for this year in mariachi and for the future of conferences. So I'm really excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Joe. If that's it, we're done.
Cool.
Thanks for
All right.
joining me.
Yep. Thank you, guys.